Hello Festival Gang, Tharries here, and welcome back to another Doctor Who Series 13 leak video. Now before we get into it, and before I even do the subscribe spiel, which if you haven't already, you definitely should, I just want to say something about these videos. I want to say right now, I know that a lot of these are very likely to be BS, but I still enjoy talking about them. And the reason I call them leaks is because that is what they were called when I started doing this, so I just adopted that name. Could I have called them rumours? Yes, but the difference between the words is so minuscule that I really don't see a point. Plus people are used to what they're called now, and when you see one of these leak videos, you know what you're in for, you know it's probably going to be about Reddit. And if you don't enjoy this type of content, you don't have to watch it. I just enjoy talking about these, and some other people enjoy reading them as well. So with that disclaimer out the way, please subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 10k by the end of the year, and I would absolutely love it if we could get there. We just hit 7,000 subscribers, thank you so much for that. And let's get into today's leak. Today's leak is called Series 13 2022 Specials and Series 14 Rumours. Things are shifting very quickly in the BBC. Doctor Who, as you know, it will not be around for much longer. How do I know? Good question. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to kill you if I told you. Okay, that was abrupt. Secrecy and all. First of all, Series 13 was a nightmare to film. Production was a slog, with finished scripts being fired out very last minute, sometimes on the day of shooting. That's all well and good, but when it's pivotal plot points, it does make the shooting one hell of a stress. That being said, the series is looking good, and the continuous story is something which matches up to the same quality of Torchwood Children of Earth. Expect Yaz to be a fan favourite by the end along with John Bishop's hilarious Dan, and Jodie gives the best performance of her career. Vinda isn't really who you think he is, but Jacob Anderson is a very cool addition to the team. Sacha Dhawan returns as his glorious master in the last ep. Now, Series 13 is the final chapter in something much bigger. One notable current ongoing discussion behind the scenes is that Series 13 will drop in its entirety on BBC iPlayer when the first episode is aired on BBC One. There are many pros and cons to that, but they are trying to make it the most accessible and modern series yet. I'm going to stop it right there. I wouldn't be a big fan of that if only because, from a content creator perspective, it's a lot easier if there is a gap, a week-long gap between each episode so you can get all your thoughts out in time, as well as all the surrounding things. You can talk about ratings, you can talk about, the basic plot, the directors, all that sort of stuff, and you don't really have time to do that if it's all going to be dropped on the same day. You can't dedicate as much time to each episode as perhaps you might like to otherwise. The trilogy of specials, excuse my French here, effing superb. All those Christianal bashers will be astonished with what this man has pulled out of his arse for the fans. Joe Martin returns as the Doctor and is given several scene-stealing moments. Many people will be praying for an era dedicated to this goddess. Hate to tell all the fugitive Doctor stands out there, but she is probably not the 40th Doctor. But don't worry, Chris will try and feed your urges during these specials. The plotline for these specials? The Timeless Child, of course. Now some of you may have guessed where this is going, some of you have not. The complexity to the narrative is really admirable, and you will feel this was a worthy story arc. The Centenary special is currently wrapping up filming, from what I've seen, and worked on. It's the Doctor Who movie everyone's been asking for. This will be released in cinemas as well as broadcast on BBC One in October 2022. It is a multi-Doctor story with 13 and the Fugitive Doctor being accompanied by 8, 10, and 11. Oh, and Alex Kingston. This is something that keeps getting brought up a lot, like 8, 10, and 11 all coming back along with River Song for these Centenary specials, and I'm just not convinced. It just reads as a bit fanficky to me. This is an alternate for the 60th anniversary special, but there's some really cool shit planned for them. Jodie's regeneration is a scene unlike anything that's been filmed on Doctor Who before. Oh boy, you have no idea what's coming. Now, the 14th Doctor will not appear in the Centenary special. There are good reasons for this. The first is that the 14th Doctor will pave the way in creating a new brand for Doctor Who. The second is that the new showrunners have a very bold idea in how to introduce the 14th Doctor. And yes, I said showrunners as in plural. I genuinely cannot give any names. All I can say is they are brand new to Doctor Who, but they have worked with BBC before and are big names. Yeah, this is another thing that's been mentioned in a few leaks, the idea that there's actually not just one solid showrunner, but instead a group of showrunners, and honestly, I actually think that might be a good idea, because the problem with having one person is if one person's ideas don't gel with the audience, then you're kind of stuck with those ideas. It happened with Moffat. Moffat, as much as I think he had generally some pretty great ideas, when you leave him to do too much by himself, he can get a bit too complex, and even Davies to a point, he could get a bit too bombastic if he was left off the chain. And obviously Chibnall as well does a lot of lore stuff that he's always wanted to do, I think, ever since he was a kid. So having other people there to maybe balance those things out actually might be a really good idea. The 14th series of Doctor Who will premiere in spring 2023. Wait, scratch that. The new era of Doctor Who will premiere in spring 2023. Whether it will be called Series 14, well, I don't know. But I don't think so. Yeah, that was in another rumour as well. There are many rumours about how the new series are going to look, but serials are what is currently being talked about. Smaller series, bigger stories, bigger risk, and a more constant flow of Doctor Who content on screen. Less episodes isn't something I'm particularly enthusiastic about. Obviously, this leak did turn out to be somewhat true. But as for the idea of there being more consistent Doctor Who content, I'm down for that. If they have to make the episode count less in order to accommodate a yearly release, then I think I would be okay with that. Who is the 14th Doctor, you ask? Let's just say their name has been mentioned, but they are currently being branded as unlikely by fans due to their notoriety. They are a big name and a big gain for the show. I'm trying to think who's been mentioned by fans for being too big, but I, for the life of me, can't think of anyone. If anyone has any ideas who that could be, let me know in the comments below. The BBC is throwing money at Doctor Who. You may not think they are, but trust me, they are. And to prove how precious this show is, they're about to market it as a serious competitor to streaming service production. They're really going to have to ramp up the budget then, because Doctor Who pales in comparison to its Netflix and Disney Plus counterparts. And that's not me having a dig at Doctor Who per se, but if you watch something like Loki, it's obvious that the budget is way higher, and in order for Doctor Who to compete, the budget is just going to have to be way higher. If you have any questions, please ask me, but I probably won't answer. Okay. P.S. You were supposed to be getting a 5th season of Torchwood going into production early next year, to air on the relaunched BBC Three channel as one of its only returning series. That has been postponed indefinitely due to Barrowman's current allegations. Also, Toby Whithouse and Mark Gatiss, who were going to take the reins from RTD and Julie Gardner, have stepped back due to creative differences. Again, with the whole Torchwood revival thing, I'm not even sure that it was planned. I've said this before. I think the most that would have happened was maybe they got John Barrowman back and perhaps they were like, hey, if this goes well, and if the series is a big success, then perhaps we can talk about bringing Torchwood back. But I don't think that Series 12 did well enough to justify bringing back a spin-off, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this leak. Do you think it's accurate? Do you think it's not? It sounds very similar to the last one, or like one of the last ones, and honestly, I thought that one sounded relatively plausible. But let me know what you guys think about this leak, comment down below your thoughts and subscribe if you do, and I will see you later.